Hello there, greetings everybody. I want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. So we're doing an episode of next week. Is a show I put on every Saturday afternoon. I try to get it out between 12 and 2, but it doesn't always happen. Today was a busy day this morning, and so it's a little bit behind, but ready to go. So this show, we're just talking about the content for the channel episodes for the week, plus the series and anything new that I may want to bring up for the channel for the week. So I'm going to go through the channel shows first. So we have 10 altogether, starting out with the live streams, the two live streams, which will come out Sunday. Sunday Morning Breakfast Live. We're going to be featuring those albums that maybe you didn't know about that came out in the 1980s, or you didn't know about. I don't mean that you didn't hear of them, but you weren't sure where they were going with their music and that kind of stuff. So we'll be doing that for the live stream on Sunday Morning Breakfast Live, and that will be Sunday at 9 a.m. The other live stream, which comes out in the evening, Into the Progverse, we're going to be featuring the year 1984, the Prog albums that came out in 84. This is kind of around the beginning of that neo-prog era where you've got that bands like Marillion and IQ and Pendragon and all them started producing progressive rock, although Marillion would definitely deny that, but they're wrong. The music was pretty progressive, those first three or four albums anyways. So we'll be talking about that that year in Prog. And so that will come out Sunday at 8 p.m. Next up is look back at a classic rock album. So I chose this one because we're going to be doing the Who ranking of the Who discography. Probably I was going to do it this week, but I felt it was still a little bit too soon. So we're going to do it the first week of April. And the album we're going to be doing for look back at a classic rock album is going to be this one, a quick one from the Who. This is released in 67. I believe it was in 67. It's kind of the beginning where they start to be moved towards doing that kind of concept albums that they did after this. But this is a solid album, so this is the one we'll be doing. You're going to see the picture on the back, and that'll be the album for look back at a classic rock album Monday at 8 o'clock. So next up is the mini-series that we are running and have been running for now. I think this will be episode number 3, which will feature album runs. So he's picking 2 album runs from 2 different bands, and I'm going to tell you what I think about them and then tell you which one I prefer, which one I think is better. So the album runs for this week will be these 4. Camel's Mirage, the second studio album. The Snow Goose, which is their 3rd studio album. Moon Madness, which is their 4th studio album. Sorry, I got it too far over there. And then Rain Dances, which is the newest one in my collection, which is their 5th studio album. So by then, I should have listened to this. This is one of the next albums to go and listen to on my new albums purchased, which happened up last month, right? So catching right up here. And the discography run that they're going to go against is Marillion's. So you got their debut album, Script for Jester's Tear, their 2nd album, Fugazi, their 3rd album, Misplaced Childhood. I always call this Childhoods, and it's too much Arthur C. Clarke, I guess, in my history. And then last but not least, Clutches at Straws, their 4th studio album, the 4 that have fish on them. So that will be the Challenger. So those are the 2 that we'll be doing for the mini-series album runs, which will come out Tuesday at 8. So hope to see you all for that. Should be an interesting run. Next up is Wednesday favorites. I've chosen to do a 5-band. I originally was going to tongue-tied there for a minute. I originally was going to do my Who ranking, but I decided to give it another week. So we will do 5 bands that I like from the 2020s. should be interesting. There's a few bands that have come out in the last 4 or 5 years that I quite like. So I'll be talking about those bands Wednesday at 8 o'clock for favorites. So next up is the other mini series we are running, which is They Got It Started. This will be the 7th and final episode of They Got It Started, featuring none other than one of my favorite crooners of all time, Sam Cooke. Very different sounding than the Nat King Coles and the Frank Sinatras and Tony Bennett's of that time period of the crooning. This is more of a rock crooner. Very smooth voice. Some great stuff by this guy. So this is the guy we'll be talking about for the final episode of They Got It Started from the 1950s. And that will come out Thursday at noon. Next up is the new Prog albums. This is a show I do on Thursday nights. The album I've chosen for this week comes from a band called Keys. The album is called Infinity Parabellum. I kind of like this. It's kind of an interesting album. So we'll be doing that for the new Prog albums Thursday at 8. Next up is Who Did It Better. I put out my Who Did It Better fairly late last night because of getting in late. So Ben probably has not had a chance to watch it and hasn't come back with his Who Did It Better challenge for this week. But it'll be out this week on Friday at 8 o'clock. Next up is next week's episode, which we're doing right now. We're doing the next week today. There'll be another one that we'll do next Saturday. This will be episode number 13, featuring March 29th through to April 4th. Yes, we're already into April. Years flying by. And that will come out 12 o'clock on Saturday noon. And then the other Saturday show is What's New. This is albums that are new to 2026, but aren't progressive rock albums. I do that on new Prog albums. So this will be What's New, featuring a hard rock heavy metal band, all female band called Gems, and The Year of the Snake is the title of the album, and that will be Saturday at 8 o'clock. So that's it for the regular channel shows for the week. In addition, we have the series we are running for the month of March, which is my 31 favorite live albums. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. So it'll be interesting to see which albums I've chosen to put among my top elite albums. This was actually quite difficult to put some of these. I did rotate it a couple times with a few of them because I thought, this one's got to be ahead. You know how it is. So that will be the series. We'll have one for each day of the week, Monday through, it'll be Sunday, which will have gone tomorrow morning, Sunday through Saturday. All episodes coming out at 8 a.m. I hope to see you for that as we're getting down to the nitty-gritty in that series. So the other two things that I wanted to bring up is I will also do, actually 3 things then. I will be doing an honorable mentions at the end of the monthly series, one-off episode, which will probably come out sometime mid-afternoon or something like that, depending on what day it is. I'm not 100% sure, and I'll just give you the other albums that I could have considered for the list, but put them off because I like the ones I had. So that'll be an honorable mentions episode. And then we be talking a little bit about, just a little bit now about the series I'm going to run for next month, for April's month. So this will be my 31 favorite spring albums. So these are all going to be albums that were released in that time period when spring started as to when it ended. So for me, they will be from March 20th through to, I guess, June 20th. March, April, May, June. Yeah, so June 20th or 21st. I'm not sure which is the last day of spring. But we will be doing all of the albums that from that time period, and I will give you my 31 favorite albums that came out during that period of time. So that will be the series for next month, for the month of April. Also, we will be ranking The Who, which I've already mentioned. We'll be ranking The Who's studio discography. That will be the first Wednesday in April as opposed to the last Wednesday in March, which I had originally planned to do it that way, but decided that I wanted to give it another listen to, so I've been just rotating all the albums through. Start out just rotating the ones I wasn't as familiar with, and now I've added all the albums to it, and I'm getting ready for my ranking. A couple of albums have jumped around, were kind of surprising to me. There was one particular album that I didn't think was going to do all that much, and it's actually going to do quite a bit better than I originally thought. So we'll be ranking the studio albums of The Who at the beginning of April, first Wednesday in April. So hopefully everybody will be interested in seeing that. And that is it for today's episode of Next Week. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. That helps the channel. If you want to make any comments about anything I've said or about any of the shows, you can do that as well. And we will see you all next Saturday for another episode of Next Week. Take care and goodbye. Have a good one. Goodbye.